Good day, ma'am. My name is Ronnie Reyes from Bachelor of Science in Criminology, 4th year, Section Hotel. In this video, I'm going to explain Module 1 to 6, which is contains of different theories and topic in the subject of theories of crime causation. What is theory? Theory is a set of statement device to explain behavior, events, or phenomena, especially one that has been repeated, tested, and widely accepted. It is a set of assumptions, attempts to explain why or how they are related to each other. There are three theories of criminal behavior. So first is psychological, sociological, biological. So when we say psychological, is explaining delinquent and criminal behavior by focusing on the individual's personality. For example is if someone is surrounded by violent and aggression, they are more likely to become violent and aggressive themselves, uh, because they know that this behavior will be okay. Second is sociological. So sociological means society influence a person to become a criminal. Biological. Criminal is inherent and someone born criminal could be identified by we Tilok. There was a distinct biological class of people that were prone to criminal. Example, scaldific, abnormalities that were uh, caused by either of the abuse, uh, improper development. Okay, let's proceed to the module 2, which is the topic of positivist theory. Positivist theory, it is looks to internal influence on individual as the primary cause of criminal behavior. Most attempts to explain crime over the last century have examined social patterns as causes. Example, some positivists have argued that the unity of science stems from a single fundamental law that the other laws can be derived from. So the second is utilitarianism, an effort to provide an answer to the practical question. So what ought a person to do? So, the answer is that the person ought to act so as maximize happiness or pleasure and to minimize unhappiness or pain. Third is the neoclassical theory. So, neoclassical crime theory is assert that deterring, reducing, or eliminating crime occur through structured child rearing practices, uh, enhanced punishment, or increase in surveillance and security. For example, is assume that people will make a rational choice to commit crime. If the crime is low risk and high reward with a little likelihood of severe punishment, then motivate offenders will choose to commit crime. Classical theory. So, classical theory explain crime as a free will decision to make a criminal choice. This choice is made by applying the fin pleasure principle. People act in ways that maximize pleasure and minimize pain. So, example is if Jordan thinks about stealing the candy, then he realized that he could go to jail for doing it. He might not steal it because he'll be trying to avoid the pain jail. In module 3, there are people that different theories about criminal. So, Cesar Lombroso, he found some traits or biological traits about criminal. So, example, strange eyes, uh, big or small ears, and curl nose, uh, wrinkled skin, and second is Enrico Peri. So Enrico Peri, he explained by studying the interaction of range of factors. One, physical factors such as race, geography, and temperature. Second is individual factors such as age, sex, and psychological variables. So the third is social factors such as population, uh, religion, and culture. Sociology or somatotype theory. This refers to the study of body build of the person in relation to the permanent personality and the type of offense is most prone to commit. So the first is asthenic. So asthenic is body type is characterized as thin, uh, small, and weak. So the second is picnic type. So picnic type is round, fat, and fleshy, body. So his personality is moody, uh, sober, uh, jolly, and realistic. So the last one is athletic. So this kind of people is those who are muscular, uh, and strong. They are usually connected with crime and violence. So William Herbert Sheldon a theory. So here, Mr. Morphs, this is athletic appearance. They are active, aggressive, most likely criminals. Endomorphs, this is have a heavy belt and very slowly moving. So endomorphs, this is arousal theory. This theory states that individuals are motivated to seek out more stimulation when they have too low levels of arousal, but will become bored and unmotivated when they become too highly aroused. So, for example, when the person is extremely low of his arousal level, they go to his friend to increase his arousal level. For example, is go with friends to uh, watch car race. Then, if he's extremely high of the level of their arousal, the over stress, the uh, reading book to low his arousal level. So the second theory is evolutionary theory. So my example to the evolutionary theory is, for example, when the child when the father beats his husband, when the evolutionary theory, my example this is when the child witnesses father that beat his mother when the under of the alcohol, the child is assumed that the fate is natural and good to somebody. Then when the time to that the child is having a husband, the fate of the husband also. Classical theory. So classical theory explain crime as a free will decision to make a criminal choice. This choice is made by applying the fin pleasure principle. People act in ways that maximize pleasure and minimize pain. So, example is if Jordan thinks about stealing the candy, then he realized that he could go to jail for it, for doing it. He might not steal it because he'll be trying to avoid the pain jail. Rational choice theory. It refers to a set of guidelines that help understand economic and social behavior. Example is one individual may decide that abstaining from smoking is best for them because they want to protect their health. Another individual will decide they want to smoke because it relieves their stress. So, routine activities theory. So routine activities theory is based on the assumption that crime can be committed by anyone who has the opportunity. The theory also states that the victims are given choice themselves in situation where a crime can be committed against him. Example is uh, one one has a plan to steal a TV of Pedro, but Pedro is going to market and buy some food. Then one have opportunity to steal the TV. Lifestyle theory. So lifestyle theory holds that crime in a developmental process guided by an ongoing interaction between three variables. Example is someone with a gambling or substance addiction could be an easy victim. Social learning theory. Social learning theory is behavior is learned by observing and imitating the behaviors of others. People learn new behaviors, values, and attitudes. For example, is in my village, my attitudes is I'm rascal. Then I'm going to the city. The attitude of the people in the city is, for example, respectful. So I adapt the what attitude of them. Behaviorism. So behavior is a result of life experience, not conscious mind. We learn through our experience with our environment. So classical conditioning theory, uh, by proposed by Ivan Pavlov, a Russian psychologist. So it's a type of unconscious or automatic learning. This learning process creates a conditioned response through association between an unconditioned stimulus and a neutral stimulus. So example is when a bell sounded, it's time the dog was fed. The dog learned to associate the sound with a presentation of the food. Second is operant conditioning theory by author of Skinner. Behavior that is followed by pleasant consequence is likely to be repeated, and behavior followed by unpleasant consequences is likely least likely to be repeated. Uh, Example is reciprocal determinism. So it is an person behavior both influence and is influenced by personal factors and social environment. Example, child is acting out in a school. So, the child doesn't like going to school. Therefore, they act out in class. They result in teachers, administrators of the school disliking the child around. That's all, and thank you.